Once upon a time, there lived a couple, Evelyn and Anthony. Evelyn and Anthony, an amazing couple who started their love story well. They welcome a beautiful daughter, Lily, in the first year of their marriage. As Lily grew older, managing her became a struggle, as both parents were career people. As Lily grew, their love for her deepened, but so did the challenges of balancing their demanding careers with the needs of their precious little girl. The aroma of burnt toast hung heavy in the air, the chaos that had become their morning routine. Evelyn, her hair pulled back in a messy bun, frantically searched for Lily's missing shoe, while Anthony, his tie askew, frantically tried to tame his unruly hair. "We're going to be late again," Anthony exclaimed, his voice laced with exasperation. "Sweetheart, I told you, we need a nanny." "This is becoming too much a burden," Evelyn said, in frustration. Evelyn, her brow furrowed in concentration, finally found the missing shoe, a bright pink bunny slipper. "We need a nanny we can trust, but finding a good nanny is harder than it looks. We need someone we can leave Lily with and be at peace, someone who loves children." Anthony sighed, his shoulders slumping. He understood her desire for a loving and nurturing caregiver for Lily, but the thought of a stranger in their home, especially with their demanding work schedules, filled him with unease. He was a successful lawyer, and Evelyn, a rising star in the world of finance. Their lives were a whirlwind of deadlines and meetings, leaving little time for anything else. "Evelyn, we barely have time to breathe, let alone find a nanny. We're both working long hours and we're exhausted. We can't just trust anyone with Lily." "I know, but we can't keep going like this," Evelyn countered, her voice firm. "We both need a break, and Lily needs someone to play with and care for her. It's not fair to her, and it's not fair to us." Anthony, seeing the determination in her eyes, knew he couldn't win this argument. He had always admired Evelyn's strength and her unwavering love for their daughter. He knew she wouldn't rest until she found a solution. "All right," he conceded, his voice weary. "Let's find a nanny. But I'm not letting anyone into our home without a thorough background check and a week-long trial period." Evelyn smiled, relieved that he had finally relented. "Deal," she said, her eyes sparkling with hope. "We'll find the perfect nanny for Lily, and we'll all be happier for it." That evening, they spent hours scouring online profiles and reading reviews. They interviewed several candidates, each one promising to be the perfect fit. But something always felt off, a subtle dissonance that made them hesitant. Then, one day, they met Agnes. She was a quiet woman with a gentle smile and a calming presence. She had a way with Lily that instantly made the little girl feel at ease. Agnes spoke of her love for children, her passion for nurturing young minds, and her desire to create a safe and loving environment for Lily. Evelyn and Anthony were instantly drawn to her. She seemed like the perfect solution to their dilemma. But Anthony, ever cautious, insisted on a trial period. He knew that appearances could be deceiving, and he wanted to ensure that Agnes was truly the right fit for their family. As Agnes settled into their home, a sense of calm descended upon the household. Lily, no longer burdened by the constant stress of her parents' busy schedules, blossomed. Evelyn and Anthony, finally able to breathe a sigh of relief, found themselves enjoying their evenings together, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of peace. They had found their nanny, and for the first time in a long time, they felt like a family. Little did they know, this seemingly perfect solution would soon unravel, revealing a darkness that lurked beneath Agnes's gentle exterior. The seemingly harmless nanny was about to unleash a terror that would shake their world to its core. The scent of lavender and freshly baked cookies always greeted Mrs. Evelyn as she stepped into her home. But lately, the aroma was tinged with a subtle unease. Her once vibrant life had become a monotonous cycle of exhaustion. Every morning, she woke up feeling drained, as if she'd toiled through a grueling night shift. Doctors had dismissed her fatigue as stress, but the feeling was so profound, so tangible, that it felt like something more sinister was at play. Her only solace was her beloved daughter, Lily, a mischievous 4-year-old who brought sunshine into her life. One night, as Evelyn lay in bed, a strange sensation washed over her. She felt a tug, a pull, as if an invisible force was trying to drag her away. She tried to resist, but her limbs felt heavy, her voice trapped in her throat. Then, darkness consumed her. The next morning, Evelyn awoke with a headache and a gnawing sense of dread. She couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible had happened, something she couldn't quite grasp. Days turned into weeks, and her exhaustion worsened. She consulted doctors, specialists, even a sleep therapist, but no explanation emerged. Desperate for answers, Evelyn sought solace in her church. The pastor, a wise old man with piercing eyes, listened intently to her story. He paused, his gaze fixed on her, and said, "Your nanny, Agnes, she's not what she seems. She's a vessel, a conduit for something darker." Evelyn was stunned. "What do you mean?" she whispered, her heart pounding. The pastor explained that Agnes was possessed by a demon, a malevolent entity that belonged to a secretive cult. Every night, at midnight, Agnes's spirit would relinquish control, allowing the demon to take over. And in the spirit realm, Evelyn was not the mistress of her own home, but a servant, a maid toiling tirelessly for her captor. Evelyn's blood ran cold. She had brought a demon into her home, unknowingly allowing it to torment her. The pastor explained that the demon had a more sinister mission. It was not content with simply draining her energy. It sought to break her home, to enslave her soul, and possess their daughter. Her heart pounding with fear, she called her husband and narrated the entire revelation to him. He rushed back home to confront Agnes with her and Pastor Andrew. They walked into their house, approaching the nanny. Agnes, sensing her intention, turned, her eyes now burning with a malevolent fire. She was yet speaking when Pastor Andrew walked in and began casting her out. The battle was fierce, a clash of power between God and Satan. Evelyn's home became a battleground, filled with the sounds of crashing furniture and the chilling screams of the demon. Finally, with a deafening roar, the demon was vanquished. Agnes, her eyes filled with confusion and fear, collapsed to the floor, the demon's influence broken. Evelyn, exhausted but triumphant, held her daughter close, her heart overflowing with gratitude. The flickering candlelight cast long dancing shadows across the worn wooden floor of the church basement. Pastor Andrew and Mrs. Evelyn sat opposite Agnes, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. Agnes, her once gentle eyes now filled with a haunted sorrow, spoke in a voice barely above a whisper. "I never meant for it to be like this," she began, her voice cracking with emotion. "I was just a young girl, lost and alone when they found me. They offered me a home, a family, a purpose. I was so desperate for love, for acceptance, that I didn't see the darkness lurking beneath their smiles." Agnes's voice trembled as she described the cult's insidious teachings, their twisted ideology that painted the world as a place of suffering and humanity as a burden on the earth. She spoke of the rituals, the sacrifices, the relentless pressure to prove her loyalty. And she spoke of the demon, the entity that resided within her, a malevolent force that whispered promises of power and control. I was their weapon, their tool, she confessed, her eyes brimming with tears. They sent me into homes like yours, disguised as a harmless nanny. My job was to break families apart, to sow seeds of discord, to make them vulnerable. And the children, they were the prize, their innocence a source of power for the dark rituals. Agnes's voice grew stronger, a fierce determination, replacing the despair. But I'm not their weapon anymore. I've seen the error of my ways. I've seen the darkness I helped create, and I want to make amends. After the whole unpleasant situations, Agnes was sent away. Pastor Andrew prayed deliverance prayer for Lily and the entire family. Evelyn and Anthony decided to cut down on their workloads so as to take shifts in taking care of their baby until they find a more suitable nanny, which seemed almost impossible. The whole turn of events left them traumatized and distrusting of people. They learnt a hard lesson. Evelyn had learned that even in the darkest of times, faith and love could triumph over evil. And most importantly, she had learned that the most dangerous demons often hide in plain sight, disguised as ordinary people. The story of Evelyn, the nanny, and the demon serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that appearances can be deceiving, and that the battle between good and evil is often fought in the most unexpected places. It's a story that warns parents to be more careful when hiring nannies and minders because the days are evil. Did you enjoy this story? If you did, click the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to be the first to know when another amazing story is made available. Here in Stories HQ, we share African folktale, bedtime stories, and true life stories. Give this story a thumbs up and a like. Share your thoughts in the comments section. See you in the next story.